Hello again, Dylan. I'm back with another video for revision 1 of 5. Just a quick recap. This sticky note concept here is the one that we chose, and I tried to implement a brain with this, but it was unsuccessful, and the goal with this one was to just keep trying to get that brain to work. So essentially, we're trying to combine these three symbols and trying to get all three of them to be recognizable and to work together, and just it was a challenge. And yeah, you're saying you don't see how three images could come together, but maybe I can prove you wrong. And I was nodding my head, thinking the same thing. I got to prove my own doubts wrong, and you know, I might have found something that you might like. So here it is. All right, so I found a brain, a simpler shape for a brain that's essentially a half circle. And then I found that the bars can just stair step on the back side of the brain, as the curve is going up, and then just have the right side, be the brain part. And then, yeah, you got the speech bubble arrow at the bottom. And I feel that this communicates those three symbols together in the clearest way. I'd say the strongest image here is the brain, which I think is the one that you seem to really want to go for to implement, just to show that your advisors are knowledgeable. This is a knowledgeable community. And I'd say the bars and the speech bubble are not as clear as in the original concept where it's just those two images, but they're still very recognizable here. And so let's look at some variations. All right, so along the top row, I was just mostly kind of just redrawing this, and it seemed to change every time. But one thing over here is that the arrow is connecting these two, but it kind of made this weird, detail here, this extra point, and if I made it, go straight to this end, then the arrow is just too big, and so I ended up, going with where it just kind of meets right there. And I was trying with some like round bottoms to make it more of a circle, like a speech bubble. But then, I was finding that I was just losing the brain. And then here's more of a brain shape, but I think it's just a little too complicated, and the speech bubble is definitely disappearing. And I was drawing all these, and I noticed that a lot of them they kind of look like storm clouds with the lightning bolt coming down, and that kind of just shot down the idea. So I came up with the idea of curving the arrow. So right here, we got straight, slightly curved, and highly curved. And so I kind of chose this middle ground. I think that works best, communicates that it's a speech bubble, not lightning, and it doesn't look like it's like speeding off, driving that way. And a added little visual perk is that in this one, this line kind of meets here and then it suddenly turns. But with the curve, you can just follow the line through and it starts to curve through this cross. The horizontal goes straight through, and it just looks a little cleaner than these conflicting shapes. And yeah, I was very happy with this concept. But later on, I was like, man, I think I've seen this logo before. Like, what is this logo? And it finally came to me that it looks a lot like the SoundCloud logo, which I'll show you right here. Right here on the left. It's got the vertical bars and then this, brain shape kind of cloud. And then this NBC News, that's another one that came to mind that's got the general shape of that. But it's this logo in the middle is, it's unique compared to these two, but someone may, bring these to mind, but they are, this being news, this being music, very different industries. So there's no issue with copyrights, and because you're in a whole different industry, going for a different audience. So there's just the connection that, it looks a lot like these logos, especially the SoundCloud one. But I don't think it's too big of an issue. Um, and then some other ideas, as I was, brainstorming, working up to this. Up here is really just trying to separate the three images in a clean way. But there's just a lot of detail, and then these two are just kind of terrible. This one kind of looks like a hair dryer. But anyways, uh, and some other ideas. I think this bottom right one looks pretty clean. It looks, the speech bubble's really clear, the brains are really clear, the bars are a little bit, you can definitely notice them, but they don't look too much like bars. But, anytime if a logo needs a brain and that brain starts to get these lines that break the outside shape, it starts to look very, very cartoony, like really quick. Like this, I think, looks pretty cartoony, which in no way fits your brand. So I'd say not to do this because it just looks very cartoony. It's not a logo that takes itself seriously. And this top left one, sticks really close to the one that you liked. These would be two solid shapes, and it kind of breaks one of my rules where this would need to have two colors that are touching, and that's a big no-no, because and you need this a lot, if you need to display the logo with just one color, for instance black and white, you can't, because there's two colors next to each other. And you'd have to do like a black and gray, or a white and gray, and it just, a lot of the time you can't do a gray, you just need to do black and white, and it's annoying when you can't. And so the decision comes down to this, if you want to have just the two images or the three images together. The one on the left, I'd say, is much bolder. It's very clear that the two images are much more clear. You can see the bars very easily. You can see the speech bubble very easily. And I think it's a much stronger vision, presentation of the core concepts of your business. The bonus with the brain is that, you add to that message, rounding out the business a little more with your logo. It does focus on the brain more, showing that, your business is where you want to go, if you want the best people. But it does, as I was saying before, the cartoony aspect of brains. This one does seem a little bit cartoony. Not too bad. It does seem very clean and sharp, but there is kind of like a comedic element to this one. A funny looking brain. This one's very professional, well presented. So I am leaning toward this one, the one on the left, because I think that is a much clearer, stronger message. This one does have the nice added message of, experience and know-how, but ultimately I tend to side with this one. But it's up to you. And so, to brain or not to brain, it's your decision. So good luck. I've got my fiance's birthday this weekend, and my little girl is turning 1 year old, so we're celebrating that this weekend as well, because their birthdays are only 2 days apart. So I'll get back to you on Monday. So happy deciding and good luck. See you later.